So we have discussed about in the last class regarding different optical components such as mirrors, lens and prism polarizer, grating, waveplates. So I have shown some of the ray optics simulations, how you can do your understanding of the ray propagation with the different lenses and the mirrors. Okay, so now we will study the basic laws of the optics such as law of reflection and law of refraction using ray optics diagram. Okay, so now I am taking a ray and I place a mirror, it's perpendicular to in this way. Now you see this is your incident light. So I don't know you can see or not. Yes, this is the incident light and this is the reflected light. Now if you draw a perpendicular line to this mirror, so that will goes through like this at the middle of these two rays. Now that you call a normal line to the mirror. Okay, this normal to the incident beam, the angle makes of the incident ray with the normal of this mirror, that is angle of incidence, that you call angle of incidence, that is a incident ray which is incidenting on this mirror with a certain angle theta 1 to the normal. Now as you see, the reflected light is also making an angle of theta r with respect to the normal. So now for example, if you place a mirror, exactly straight to like kind of a perpendicular to your beam direction. For example, now you see your beam direction is perpendicular, so you have to make exactly a perpendicular. Then what you will get, whatever the light is incident on and reflected back the similar way. So if both your incident ray hitting your mirror exactly perpendicular to the mirror, the reflected ray also travels the same path. If the incident ray make an angle to the normal, as you see how much angle it is. If it is close to the normal, your reflected ray also close to the normal. If the normal is actually between the two rays, you can, if you see, the normal is perpendicular to the mirror, which is actually between these two rays, the incident and reflected ray. So now if the angle of incidence is increases, the angle of reflection also increasing. So now also the what you can also see here with this visualization, the angle between reflected ray and normal. So the angle between reflected and normal, I will draw a normal line using a ruler. Okay, so assume this is a normal line. Okay, so now this line is a normal. The angle between the incident ray to the normal and normal to the reflected ray is same. Okay, so that means how much angle it is incidenting on, accordingly the reflection also changes. So that means if it is incidenting at a 45 angle, the reflected ray also makes a 45-degree angle with the normal. Okay, so this you call a law of a reflection. when a light incident on the surface at an angle of theta to the normal, and the reflected ray makes the same angle with respect to the normal. Okay, so that is called law of reflection. So now in this law of reflection, the image size is same. For example, you want to image, like you have, for example, this is the height of the object here, and in the reflection you will get same height. So the magnification factor will be 1. So the magnification factor is 1. So the magnification is your image size, and the ratio of your image size and the object size, that gives you a magnification. So that is factor of 1. Okay, that is called law of reflection. Now we will see law of refraction. So to know the law of the reflection, you can actually take in a plane, you take the ray of the beam. Now you see a light is incidenting from, this is, assume this is a rarer medium, this side is a rarer medium, and this is a denser medium. When light incident from rarer to denser medium, this is rarer to denser medium, if we plot normal, so normal will be exactly like this. You can have the grid, you have the ruler. Okay, now if you see the light incidenting from your rarer medium to denser medium, and assume this is your normal is perpendicular to the surface. When light ray incidenting from rarer to denser, your beam is bending towards the normal. The light ray is bending towards the normal, and suppose your light ray is incidenting if your light ray is incidenting from denser medium to rarer medium. Now you take your normal similar way. Now what happened? It is actually going away from the normal. So now it is due to the change of the refractive index. So the rarer medium of refractive index, for example, on the air, refractive index is 1, and the denser medium having a different refractive index makes the bending of the light at the interface. Okay, at the interface you have change in the refractive index. So now when light propagates from denser to rarer medium, it is actually bending away from the normal. When light inciding from rarer to denser medium, the light bends towards the normal. So this is your refraction. So now from this one can actually calculate the refractive index of this denser medium. So because rarer medium is air, we know what is the refractive index of the air. So from this you take any material, by Snell's law you can calculate your refractive index of this medium. Okay, now we will see how we can calculate? Okay, so now we are taking a material. So this is a material medium. Okay, so when I'm just drawing the material medium, I think better give the some color. So this material having a certain refractive index. It has a refractive index of n2, and this is refractive index n1. And we know that when light propagates with the speed v equals to c by n. If n equals to 1, the light propagation is equals to speed of the light. If n is greater than 1, your v will be less than the speed of the light. Now, this is your normal to the surface. Now, the light is incidenting with an angle of theta 1. Okay, the light is incidenting with the angle theta 1. So now it will bend towards the normal. So bending towards the normal, that angle is theta 2. Okay, so now according to Snell's law, your n1, something happened. n1 sin theta 1 equals to n2 sin theta 2. This is theta 1, and the bending is happened here. So this is theta 1 and this is theta 2. So now n1 sin theta 1 equals to n2 sin theta 2. So now sin theta 2 equals to n1 by n2 sin theta 1. So now if you know the refractive index of the media and one of the angle, you can calculate the another angle. So for example, if you know the incident angle and if you know the refractive index of the medium, you can calculate how much angle it actually deviated from the normal within the medium. For example, at some point, so your angle of incidence is increases. Okay, your angle of incidence increase at some point. Your theta 2 can be pi by 2. If theta 2 equals to pi by 2, your sin theta 1 equals to your theta 2 equals to pi by 2. Sin pi by 2 is 1. Your sin theta 1 equals to n2 by n1. Your theta 1 equals to sin inverse n2 by n1. So now this theta 1 is actually the incident angle which is can be calculated using your known refractive index. So if you know some of the parameters, for example, if you know the incident angle and the refraction angle, then you can calculate the unknown refractive index, or if you know the refractive index of the medium and if you know the angle of incidence, you can calculate the angle of the refraction. And there is a critical angle of incidence where, for example, this is our material medium. So this is our material medium. Now the light ray is propagating from your denser medium to rarer medium. So for example, now this is your normal. Your light ray is propagating from denser medium to rarer medium. So this is denser medium. So denser to rarer, so it go away from the normal. So now as you change the angle, what happens at a certain critical angle, so that is I'm talking about theta c, the light bends such a way that it propagates along this line. Okay, so that means it exactly make a 90-degree to the normal. So now if we exceed this theta c, if you give incident angle, so if you like incident with the more than the theta c angle, so now what happens, the light bounce back into the medium itself. So that is called total internal reflection. So this is one of the greatest advantages in the modern optics. So whatever right now we have the communications, mainly based on the optical communications, is based on this principle. We develop the fibers. So these are fiber materials where your light propagation is controlled through a total internal reflection. So now if you take a fiber, so your fiber have two components, mainly the core and cladding. So where your core refractive index is higher, your N1 refractive index is higher compared to N2. N1 is greater than N2. So now you come up with a certain angle of incidence. So you have total internal reflection. Okay. So now you are actually, so now this fiber, you can make the fibers, it's very long lengths. So that for example now whatever we have the communications, whatever the data transfer happening through optical fibers from west to east, that means from US to Japan through optical fibers. Okay, so there are optical fibers undergo through oceans to carry our data. Okay, so this is the greatest achievement in the humankind. We are actually transferring the data with the minimal losses using optical fibers. So that is just a basic phenomena. Based on the just basic phenomena, it's a fundamental phenomena of total internal reflection. So the basic thing is the refractive index of the core is higher than the refractive index of the cladding. Okay, so this is the way we transfer the information or whatever our messages, like whatever we speak, we convert into electromagnetic signal. Okay, so then that will be transferred to reach the whatever the distance you want to reach the information to other person. Okay, so this is based on the total internal reflection phenomenon. Any questions here? Hello, I'm audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay. So just sometimes feels like that I'm just only speaking. I got a doubt whether there is a connection, internet is okay or not. Okay. Okay. So now, so we will move on to the lens and mirror system. So now the formation of the images using basic lenses. As you see here, the image formation using a convex lens. Whatever you are seeing here, so this is the lens having focal length f here. So this is the position of the focal point. Generally we are called a focal plane here. In this focal plane, if you place your image in the focal focus, okay, you can see the image formation. If it is very close to the lens, your image will be a virtual image. So now as you see, it's very close to the thing, so the light will be travel like this, like a diverging. So then you extend your rays back, so you will form a virtual image wherever you keep your object within the focus, within the focal length, your image is virtual image. You can always see here from very close point to the object. So now at exactly the center, you will get at the focus the image, that is again virtual image. Up to you can go, the image will be virtual. Now it is going towards the infinity. So here you can see here the object distance from the lens. So I am changing in centimeters, the units are in centimeters, and the object height is 19 centimeter fixed. So now the image distance you can watch how image distance, when I changing the object distance, the image distance is changing, as well as the height of the image is changing. Now as I am moving towards the focus, the image height is increasing as it is going towards the infinity. When I come to closer, the image height is much close to the size of the object. Right now my size of the object is 7.5 centimeter. Only at the center of the lens it will match if you are able to place. But you have you just touch the lens, your image height is almost a centimeter high, and you come towards the focus, your image height is keep increasing, and you can see how it is increasing when it goes to infinity. So now if you come after the focus, now you form the image in the infinite distance towards the after the lens. Okay, so now this image is real image and it is inverted. As you see now, as you come to focus and focus, this is the focus point, and this is double of the focus point, that's you call 2f. As you see, if you place your objective at the 2f distance from the lens, your image will also be formed at the 2f distance with the inverted image. So now as you see the imaging, how your image, you want clear image, or you want a magnified image, depending upon your usage of your image processing requirement of image processing, you can actually place your object accordingly. You want to magnify, you come much closer, you can magnify the image. You want to see the real image at different positions, you can actually make your object distance with respect to the lens to get what kind of image you want. So this is actually the formation of the image using the lens. Okay, so now as you go away from the 2f, now your object height is bigger compared to your image height. So now as you see, as you away from your 2f, if you place your object, then your image formation will be real, but it is diminished, inverted, and it diminished. That means it will become small and small as you go towards the infinity in this direction. Okay, so this is the image formation using a convex lens. Okay, and you can also play with the focal length. So you can also play with the focus distance. How you can, that means focal length means it's coming, it's mainly design of our geometrical design of the lens. So if you increase the width of this lens more, the focal length will change. If you decrease the length, the focal length will change. Okay, so this is actually a geometrical arrangement, make you the light propagates to medium, how much distance it propagates within the medium. Okay, so that will actually really matters at the interface. The bending of the light will takes place to make your focusing and defocusing of the light. Okay, so in this animation you can actually change the height of the object as well as change of the your focal length. As you change your focal length, you can see how the formation of the images changes. And similarly, you can do for a diverging lens. So diverging lens in the case, it's your concave lens. So in this concave lens, you can also similarly talk about. So now, for example, this is your concave lens to extreme left. That means after the 2f, your image is virtual and diminished. That means object size is bigger and image size is smaller. And you move towards the focus distance. Now you form 2f, you place at 2f, it's also the image is virtual image and diminish, reduced in the size. And you come to focus. Now the image will be formed exactly at the center between the object and the lens, and then it's also a virtual image. Now you come closer, so you will almost get the same size of the object. So now with the concave lens, you always form the virtual image. You can always see here, you always form the virtual image, and also size wise it's always smaller. When you touch it here, that means then there is no lensing effect, your image and object size is same. But once you are actually close to the lens, your object, your image always, if you see, the height of the image is 18.1 here and 21.7. So your object height is always bigger in the concave lens the image formation always smaller and also virtual. Okay, so now we move to mirror. So now this is a concave mirror. So using concave mirror, so we are actually starting from the large distance, means away from the focus. So this is your focal point and double of the focal point, and now I place the object here. So now you place a far distance, almost like a infinite distance. Your image formation will be real and will be center of your fn to f if it is a far, if infinite distance. But if you come to 2f, if you come to 2f, now your image is formed exactly at the 2f, and that is a real image and inverted. And now you come towards the focus. As you see, the size of the image also is getting increased. As you see, the size of the image is getting increased and is come towards the focus. The image is forming a larger distances after 2f. Now once you come up 2f, the image is formed almost, you can see here, almost 1 meter, close to 1 meter, and at the focus it's at infinity. So if you keep your object at the focal distance of your mirror, the image will be formed at the infinity. So now you come closer towards the mirror. As you see, your image formation is virtual image, and it's bigger in the size. The height of the image will be much higher. It's always much higher when it is close to mirror. Still, as you can see, the object height is 21.7 centimeter and the image height is 26 centimeter. So it's always bigger when your object is placed between f and lens. That means that is within f and mirror, your image will be virtual, and the height of the image will be larger. Okay, so you can always see, like for example, instead of the candle, you can see how it is changing the image. Okay, so this is, for example, this is your object. So then this is the formation of the image, as you can see, and similarly for the lenses. Okay, so this is about the image formation using the lenses. Okay, so now we can see, so what type of lenses we have? We have convex lens, concave lens. Okay, so in the convex lens we have two types. One is plano convex lens. So these are called, one side is plane, other side is convex. This is one type and this is one type. So these two are plano convex lenses. Okay, so the other type is biconvex lens. you combine these two, you actually get a biconvex lens. Similarly, you have plano concave lens. So these two configurations are plano concave lens. So you combine together, you get biconvex lens. Okay, so using this different combination of the lenses, you can actually use these lenses are very important in the optics to design any optical system. So mostly none of the optical systems will be exist without lens. So most of the optical systems, the lenses are very essential part to having a imaging system. Okay, so now, so if you know the focal length of the lens, okay, so you know where the exact the focus position, accordingly you will know the image formations. So for some to know your focal length, there are different formulas are there. So for example, generally lens maker's formula is a key formula to understand the focal length of the lenses. So that is equals to 1 by f equals to n minus 1 1 over r1 minus 1 over r2 plus n minus 1 d by n r1 r2. So these r1 and r2 are the radius of the curvature. So for example, now you have a lens like this. So now you can actually this extended, it forms a circle, it has certain radius r1. So that is this r1 radius of curvature. Now similarly you extend this curvature, it forms a circle, it has certain radius, that radius is r2. Okay, so now you can design, so you can actually design your lens depending on the with the radius of curvatures. So while making your lens, you can actually configure your r1 and r2, and also you can configure what type of material you want to use, and also the thickness of the lens. So these will play a crucial role where the focus should be. So your focus position will be defined by the refractive index of the medium, what kind of material you are using. A general lenses what we are using is made up of a silica glass. Okay, the silica glass is a material. Most of the glasses, most of the lenses will be used with the silica glass, and that is actually that silica glass refractive index is one of the key parameter. If you use different material because not all the material will be having same refractive index for all the wavelengths. So depending upon the wavelength of interest you use, you have to use that kind of material where it suits. Okay, for example, if you want to use a terahertz wave, okay, in the terahertz wave generally it's a millimeter wavelengths, they are called millimeter wavelengths. So they are actually from 0.1 millimeter. The wavelength of the terahertz is in the range of millimeters. So now for these lenses, you cannot use a silica glass. So these rays cannot be focused. To have the focus condition, you need to use silicone lens. So, if the different material is essential because it has a different refractive index according to the wavelength of the light. So, that is the reason the refractive index is very crucial for the wavelength of the interest, and the geometry. The geometry in the sense the radius of the curvatures R1 and R2 and the thickness of the lens. Those will decide to have where the focus position.